Hey there, welcome back. So today we're diving into one of the most debated money questions out there. Should you invest your money or should you pay off debt first? Now I know a lot of people feel stuck on this. Maybe you have a credit card balance or a student loan or even a mortgage sitting over your head. And every month you wonder, should I be throwing extra money at this debt or should I be putting it in the stock market? Here's the truth. There's no single perfect answer for everyone, but once you understand the logic behind how wealthy people think about this, it'll completely change the way you look at your money. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to make this decision for yourself. Let's get into it. All right, first things first, let's talk about debt, and not just what you owe, but what it actually costs you. Every debt has an interest rate attached to it. That interest rate is basically the price you're paying to borrow money. So if you have a credit card with a 20% interest rate, that means for every $100 you owe, you're paying $20 per year just to keep that debt alive. That's money flying out of your pocket. Now here's the key concept. When you pay off a debt, you are guaranteed to earn whatever that interest rate is. If you pay off a 20% credit card, that's like getting a 20% return on your money. And I want you to think about that for a second. Where else are you going to get a guaranteed 20% return? Almost nowhere. So high interest debt, that's almost always priority number one. You pay that off first. That is non-negotiable. Okay, so we talked about the cost of debt. Now let's flip the coin and talk about investing, specifically why it matters so much. When you invest money, you're putting it to work. And over time, you don't just earn returns on your original money, you earn returns on your returns too. This is called compound interest, and it's honestly one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. Let's say you invest $5,000 today at an average annual return of 8%, which is roughly what the stock market has historically done over long periods. In 10 years, that $5,000 could grow to over $10,000 without you doing anything extra. In 30 years, it could be around $50,000. That's the power of time and compounding. So here's the tension. The longer you wait to invest, the more of that compounding power you lose. Every year you delay starting your investments, you're potentially leaving thousands of dollars on the table. That's why wealthy people treat investing seriously from an early age. All right, so how do you actually decide? Here's the simple rule that financially smart people follow. Compare the numbers. On one side, you have your debt's interest rate. On the other side, you have the expected return on your investment. Whichever number is higher tells you where your money should go. Here's how it breaks down in real life. If your debt has a high interest rate, let's say above 7% or 8%, pay it off first, because you'd need to beat that rate consistently in the market, and that's not guaranteed. And if your debt interest rate falls somewhere in the middle, around 5% to 7%, that's where it gets tricky, and you might consider doing both. Splitting your extra money between debt payoff and investing. Simple framework, right? High rate debt, pay it off. Low rate debt, invest. Middle, split the difference. Now, before you do any of this, investing or paying off debt, there's one thing that comes before everything else, and that's your emergency fund. An emergency fund is basically a financial safety net. It's money you keep aside specifically for unexpected situations, a job loss, a medical bill, a car breakdown. Life throws curveballs, and without this cushion, one surprise expense can force you right back into more debt. Most financial experts recommend having 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved in a liquid account, meaning a place you can access it quickly, like a regular savings account. So the order of operations looks like this. Number 1, build your emergency fund. Number 2, tackle high-interest debt aggressively. Number 3, invest for your future. Don't skip step 1. I've seen so many people jump straight to investing while sitting on credit card debt with no safety net. And when life hits, and it always hits, they end up worse off than before. Okay, here's something that a lot of people completely overlook, and it might be the easiest free money you'll ever find. If your employer offers a retirement account match, like a 401k match in the US, you should almost always contribute at least enough to get that full match before you do anything else with your extra money. Why? Because that match is a 50% to 100% instant return on your money. Let me say that again. Instant return. Your employer literally doubles or adds to what you put in right away. No market risk, no waiting. That's free money. So even if you have debt, even moderately high interest debt, contributing enough to snag your full employer match is almost always worth doing first. You'd have to have some seriously high interest debt to justify passing up a 100% return. Once you've grabbed that match, then you go back to the compare the numbers framework we talked about earlier. Now I want to talk about something that the pure math doesn't capture, and that's the emotional weight of debt. For a lot of people, carrying debt is stressful. It sits in the back of your mind. It affects your sleep, your mood, your sense of security. And while the numbers might say invest instead of paying off your 5% loan, your mental health and motivation might say something very different. Here's the thing. A plan you actually stick to beats a mathematically perfect plans you abandon. If paying off debt faster gives you motivation, momentum, and peace of mind, then that psychological benefit has real value even if it doesn't show up in a spreadsheet. Dave Ramsey built an entire financial movement around this idea, the debt snowball, where you pay off your smallest debts first for the psychological wins, not necessarily because it's the mathematically optimal choice. And millions of people have gotten out of debt using that method because the motivation kept them going. So don't ignore how debt makes you feel. Your emotional relationship with money matters just as much as the math. All right, so let's zoom out and talk about how genuinely wealthy people actually think about this. Because here's what's interesting. Rich people aren't always doing the mathematically perfect thing either. Wealthy people tend to think in terms of net worth and cash flow, not just, how do I pay off this bill? They ask, where is this dollar going to do the most work for me? They understand that not all debt is created equal. A mortgage on a growing asset is very different from credit card debt on a vacation. They use low-interest debt strategically while investing their cash aggressively. They also prioritize building assets, things that grow in value or generate income over time, rather than just eliminating liabilities. And here's one more thing wealthy people understand deeply: opportunity cost. Every dollar you use to pay off a 3% loan could potentially be earning 8% or more in the market. That gap matters over decades. They're always thinking about where money works hardest. Okay, let's make this concrete with some real examples so it clicks. Example 1. Sarah has $10,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest and $500 a month to spare. Should she invest? Absolutely not, yet. That 22% is destroying her. She should throw every extra dollar at that card until it's gone. There's no investment that reliably beats 22%. Example 2. James has a 30-year mortgage at 3.5% interest and $1,000 a month extra. Should he pay off his mortgage early or invest? In most cases, he's better off investing. Historically, the market returns around 7% to 10% annually. At 3.5%, his mortgage interest is actually relatively cheap capital. He invests. Example 3. Maria has a car loan at 6.5% interest and $400 a month extra. This is the gray zone. She could do either or split it 50-50. The key thing is she should also make sure she has her emergency fund sorted and is getting her employer match first. See how the framework plays out in real life? It's not one size fits all. It depends on your specific numbers. All right, let's build your personal framework right now. Here's a simple step-by-step order to follow. Step 1. Build a starter emergency fund of at least 1 to 2 months of expenses if you don't have one already. This protects you from going deeper into debt. Step 2. Grab your full employer retirement match if your job offers one. That's free money. Always take it. Step 3. Aggressively pay off any debt with an interest rate above roughly 7% to 8%. Credit cards, high-rate personal loans, knock these out. Step 4. If you still have money left and your remaining debts are below 7%, start investing more seriously. Max out tax advantaged accounts like a Roth IRA or 401k. Step 5. If all high-interest debt is gone and you're investing, then consider whether you want to pay off medium-rate debts faster for peace of mind, or keep investing more. This isn't a perfect formula, but it's a solid foundation that works for the vast majority of people. Write it down. Stick it somewhere visible. Before I wrap up, let me quickly walk you through some common mistakes people make with this decision so you can avoid them. Mistake 1. Ignoring high-interest debt and investing instead, thinking the market will save them. The market is not guaranteed. That 22% credit card rate is guaranteed to hurt you. Mistake 2. Paying off all debt before investing a single dollar. If you have a 3% car loan and you're spending 10 years paying it down before you ever invest, you've lost a decade of compound growth. That's a massive cost. Mistake 3. Not having an emergency fund and then being forced to take on new debt when something breaks. This is a cycle that keeps people stuck. Mistake 4. Making emotional decisions. Deciding to invest because everyone is talking about a hot stock tip, or panicking and throwing money at debt during a market crash. Stick to your framework, not your feelings. Mistake 5. Never reviewing your plan. Your situation changes. Income goes up. Debt gets paid off. Rates change. Revisit your strategy at least once a year. All right, let's bring it all together. The question of whether to invest or pay off debt doesn't have a single universal answer, but it does have a smart framework. Compare your debt interest rate to your expected investment return. Prioritize high-interest debt. Don't ignore the power of compound growth. Get your employer match. Build that emergency fund. And never let emotions hijack your financial decisions. Wealthy people aren't wealthy because they stumbled into a lucky investment. Most of them got there by being deliberate, patient, and consistent with their money over years and decades. You can do the same. The fact that you're watching this video means you care about your financial future. And that matters more than most people realize. If you found this helpful, drop a like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your money, because your money can take care of you.